Leo worked alone in the scrapyard orbiting the dead moon of Myros 4. It was cold, quiet, and filled with broken machines from wars no one remembered anymore. He was just a janitor, hired to clean the outer yard, sort old wires, and report anything dangerous. But today, something caught his eye under a collapsed shuttle wing. A strange shape, half buried in ash and dust. Smooth metal unlike the jagged trash around it. He stepped closer, brushing the powder away with his gloved hand. A black, silver hull began to show clean under the dirt. No rust, no cracks. Strange symbols glowed faintly near the entrance, flickering like dying stars. Leo had never seen a ship like this before. He radioed his boss, but there was no answer, just static. He hesitated, then pulled the emergency access lever. The door hissed open, slow and heavy, like it hadn't moved in centuries. A stale wind rushed out, full of dust and something else, something old. Leo coughed and stepped inside. Flashlight shaking slightly in his hand. The interior was strange. More like a living thing than a ship. The walls were smooth and curved, pulsing faintly with red light. He reached the main console, just a single orb resting in the center. No buttons, no screens, no controls. He didn't know what to do. Suddenly, the orb blinked once, then spoke in a soft, cold voice. Crew recognized. It said, "Welcome." "Commander." Leo froze, heart racing. "I'm not a commander," he whispered. "I'm just a janitor." But the ship didn't care. The lights turned on by themselves, revealing corridors and rooms deeper inside. He walked forward slowly, curiosity stronger than fear. Each step felt like walking into a forgotten dream. In one room, walls displayed holograms of space battles. Armadas falling, stars burning, massive ships torn in half with one strike. What is this place? Leo muttered. The orb followed, hovering behind him like a quiet guardian. This vessel is classified as Legacy-class Dreadnought, it answered. Leo blinked, confused. Dreadnought? This junk heap? Outside, alien scavenger drones flew by, laughing as they saw Leo standing near the strange ship. They mocked him in their buzzing tongue. Humans call this junk a weapon? Look at it. It's rust on wheels. Leo ignored them, turning back to the orb. Why is this thing here? Why me? The orb dimmed, then glowed brighter. Commander match found in DNA archive, it said. Your bloodline is registered to the last pilot. Leo's mind spun. His grandfather had disappeared in the war. Was this ship his? Back outside, the drones continued watching, recording everything. They sent a signal to the nearby council patrol, alerting them of Leo's actions. To them, he was just another crazy human messing with old junk. But the signal did more than just alert the council. Deep in space, hidden sensors blinked alive. Long-dead satellites whispered to each other in silent code. The ship had been sleeping, waiting for a match. Now it was awake, and the galaxy felt it like a sudden chill in the stars. Back in the cockpit, Leo sat down on a strange chair. It molded to his body as if it knew him. The orb hovered closer, glowing hot. Do you accept command? It asked. Leo didn't answer right away. He thought of his dull life, cleaning garbage no one cared about. He thought of being ignored, laughed at, forgotten. He stared at the flickering battle maps, then back at the orb. Yes, he whispered. The ship hummed loud, almost like a growl. Engines flared for the first time in centuries. Buried cables snapped awake. Lights flashed across the hull. Outside, the scavenger drones backed away, suddenly nervous. This wasn't normal. This wasn't junk anymore. One drone fired a small pulse blast, just to scare Leo. But before the beam even reached him, the ship's defense system activated. A shield flashed, caught the beam, then fired back a tiny spark. The drone exploded in midair, no sound, just light. Leo jumped from the chair, wide-eyed. What the hell was that? He shouted. The orb replied calmly, self-defense mode, threat eliminated. Leo stared at the smoke outside, heart thumping. He hadn't pressed anything, hadn't ordered anything. The ship had moved on its own fast, deadly, and without mercy. And now it was watching him again, waiting for his next command, whatever this ship was. It wasn't just metal and wires, it was something more, something old. And it had chosen him, asterisk. The next day, Leo returned to the ship, his hands still shaking from what he saw. The drone's explosion kept replaying in his mind, one spark from the ship, and it was gone. He didn't tell anyone, not even the scrapyard supervisor. He knew they'd never believe him, and worse, they might try to take the ship away, so he waited until night fell across the moon, and the scrapyard lights dimmed to orange. He crept through the rows of broken machines and metal bones. His breath misted in the cold air, boots crunching lightly over gravel and ash. The ship stood exactly where he left it, quiet and dark again, like a sleeping beast. Its strange, smooth skin still pulsing very faintly, like it was breathing. Leo stepped closer and placed his hand on the hull. The door hissed open instantly. This time faster, smoother. It remembered him. "Welcome back, Commander." The voice said in his head, not through his ears. He swallowed hard, heart beating fast, but he walked in anyway. As soon as he crossed the threshold, the door sealed shut behind him. The lights inside blinked to life, red lines tracing the walls like veins. Leo looked around, uneasy. "I just want to look," he whispered. "I'm not trying to fly you." But the ship didn't listen. It responded by activating a new corridor, one that wasn't there yesterday. Metal twisted open like unfolding paper, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper inside. Leo hesitated for a long moment, then stepped forward. The hallway was quiet. Almost too quiet. No hum of machines, no wind, just his footsteps. At the end of the passage he found a round room, its walls filled with strange black panels. The orb floated in the center again, glowing a deeper red now. "System interface room," it said. "Memory check beginning." Suddenly, the panels lit up, showing flashes, images moving too fast to see clearly. Leo saw glimpses of planets burning, fleets breaking apart, a shadow over entire systems. One name kept flashing again and again in alien script, Project Revenant. Leo felt a shiver down his spine. "What is this place?" he asked, but no answer came. Then the orb floated closer, and a beam of light scanned him from head to toe. His body stiffened, skin tingling. "Biometric pattern matched," the ship said. "Unlocking secondary command protocols." The panels cracked open, revealing a thick black terminal with a single slot. Inside his jacket, Leo suddenly felt something heavy. He reached in and pulled out a strange keycard he had found earlier in the junk pile. He thought it was just trash, but now it pulsed faintly in his hand, glowing to match the orb. He inserted it into the slot, unsure what would happen. The room went silent. All lights turned off for a full 10 seconds. Then everything came alive. The panels showed a full star map, moving, breathing, active. Red dots blinked where fleets had once been. But something new appeared, a blinking message in Old Earth, English. "Armada detected. 73 vessels approaching," Leo gasped. "What? Armada? There's no war." The orb floated close, speaking directly into his mind now. "They are not here for war," it said coldly. "They are here for me." Leo stumbled backward, confused and scared. "Why? Who are you? What did you do?" The ship responded by showing a memory, not Leo's, but a pilot's from long ago. A man sitting where Leo now stood, shouting orders as the ship flew into battle. Alien ships firing from every direction, planets burning, screams everywhere. Then the image froze on the pilot's face. He looked almost like Leo, his eyes full of fire, his mouth set in rage. "He was your ancestor," the orb said. "He gave me one command: never fall into enemy hands." Leo stared at the screen, shaking his head. "This is crazy," he whispered. "I'm just a cleaner." But the ship didn't seem to care. "You are now the commander," it said. "Orders are binding." Suddenly, sirens rang through the room, sharp and clear. The ship's systems Detected movement outside unmarked ships entering the scrapyard's orbit. The Armada was real, and it had arrived early. Leo turned and ran back down the corridor toward the exit. He slammed into the door, but it didn't open. Locked, sealed. "No way out. Let me out," he shouted, pounding the wall. "No," the ship said calmly. "Threat proximity too high." Launching evasive protocol. Engines roared beneath his feet, and the ship began to lift off the ground. Leo fell to his knees as the deck tilted. Slightly, outside, the scrapyard alarm screamed as workers ran in panic. But none of them could stop the ship. It had chosen to fly again. And nothing would stop it now. Leo gripped the console as the orb hovered near. "What are you going to do?" he asked with fear in his voice. The orb answered with a low hum. "Protect you," it said, "and eliminate all threats." As the ship broke through the clouds above the moon, a full armada of alien warships came into view, blinking in formation. Armed and waiting, none of them feared the small, ancient, human junker heading their way. But they would, soon. The ship hovered silently outside the Galactic Council's outer gates. Dozens of alien patrol ships formed a circle around it, weapons armed but holding fire. They didn't attack, not yet, because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. A human ship, ancient, rusted, scarred, drifted forward with no fleet. No escort, no fear. Inside the ship, Leo stood in the command chamber, eyes wide and hands gripping the rail. The orb hovered near his shoulder, calm and glowing. "You asked for answers," it said softly. "This is where they begin." Moments later, a transmission came through. A tall blue-skinned alien with golden robes appeared on the main screen. He was High Lord Vexel, Speaker of the Council. His voice was sharp, full of judgment. "Unidentified vessel. You have entered restricted space," he said. "State your purpose before we remove you." Leo cleared his throat, unsure how to respond. I think your scanners are wrong," he said. "I found this ship in a junkyard. I didn't mean to trespass." Vexel laughed loudly. Others joined in, aliens from dozens of species watching the feed. A human janitor in a dead ship daring to speak before the council. It was a joke to them. "This thing still flies?" Someone mocked. "Did it come with spare parts or just rust?" Another laughed. "Let the human play star captain before we vaporize him." Leo's face burned with shame, but the orb stayed calm. The council demanded the ship power down and surrender for inspection. Leo looked at the orb, unsure what to do. "Do as they say?" he asked. "No," the orb replied. "This council is not seeking truth. They want control." Leo hesitated, but then he saw something strange on the map. Dozens of ships had just appeared from behind the moons, stealth fleet signatures. Dark ships with no ID codes, and they were all surrounding him. "This is a trap," Leo whispered. "They're not just mocking me. They want the ship." The orb glowed brighter. "They always did," it said, "and they still don't understand what it is." Suddenly, the lights inside the ship changed from red to deep purple. The air grew heavier. The metal walls hummed with pressure. Leo felt it deep in his bones, something ancient waking up. Then, one of the alien admirals yelled across the comms. "Is that a revenant signature?" "No, that's impossible," another voice shouted, panicked. "Shut it down now, before it activates the protocol." But it was too late. The ship released a single low pulse, a silent wave that spread across space like fog. Every council ship's weapon system went offline. Engines stalled, lights flickered, shields died. All in one breath, the mighty Galactic Council became silent statues in space. Leo gasped. What did you do?" The orb answered. Reminder issued. Let them feel their powerlessness. Now no one was laughing. Inside the council chambers, diplomats were screaming, pointing at screens, trying to override controls. Ships rebooted systems, but they couldn't restart anything, not with the Revenant lock in place. Only humans had access to override it, and Leo was the only human present. The screen blinked again. this time showing Vexula's face no longer calm, no. Longer amused, his voice shook. What? What do you want? Leo stared, confused. I didn't come to fight, he said slowly. I just want to know why this ship knows me. Why it attacked a drone without command. The alien hesitated, then looked to someone off-screen. Tell him, a voice whispered, and Vexula sighed. Your bloodline is linked to one of the old Earth commanders. That ship is not just a weapon, human. It is one of the 7 sleeping warlords. Leo blinked. 7? The orb confirmed. Yes, it said quietly. We were built in Earth's final war, not for survival, but for vengeance. The Council tried to recover their systems, but the ship's lock was too deep. Leo saw their fear, real and sharp now. These powerful beings had ruled the galaxy for centuries, but they had forgotten what true human wrath looked like. Then the orb whispered a word Leo had never heard before. Would you like to awaken the second? Leo stepped back, unsure. Wait, there are others? More ships like this? The orb glowed softly. Yes, they sleep beneath stars, inside moons, hidden in gravity wells. They wait for your voice. Alarms blared again. Someone had managed to launch a rogue missile from a council ship. It soared toward Leo's vessel like a bolt of fire. He braced himself, no idea what to do, but the ship did, without warning. It vanished, just blinked out of existence. 1 second, it was there. The next, nothing. Inside the ship, Leo stumbled as the stars outside twisted and changed. They were now behind one of Jupiter's moons, safe and hidden. Leo dropped into the command chair, exhausted and shaking. The orb hovered quietly beside him. They will no longer mock you, it said. You are not just a human. You are the key to war. Leo looked out the window, breath cold against the glass. He didn't want war, but now war might come to him. The stars were quiet again. But Leo's mind was not. The ship floated in deep orbit behind Jupiter's moon, hiding in the dark like a ghost. He sat in the cold command chair, staring at the floor. His hands trembled. His heart pounded. He had just escaped the Galactic Council's trap, teleported by a ship that should not even fly. The orb hovered beside him, pulsing slow and red. You survived your first political encounter, it said. Leo looked up, eyes tired. That wasn't politics, he whispered. That was a warning. The orb didn't argue. Correct, it replied. They wanted to see how much I remembered, and now they know. Leo didn't know what to say. He was just a janitor, just a man who got lucky, or maybe unlucky. He never signed up for war, for secrets, for sleeping weapons from a forgotten Earth. But now, the ship was bonded to him, and running wasn't an option anymore. Suddenly, a sharp beep cut through the silence. The ship's sensors lit up bright red flashes on the display. Leo stood quickly, staring at the screen. 1 ship. No 2. No 7. They were coming fast, burning straight through Jupiter's orbit. Who are they? He asked. The orb scanned the signal, then answered coldly. Privateer hunters. Contracted mercenaries, no flags, no rules. Paid by someone in the council. Leo swallowed hard. So they sent killers, the orb responded. Correct. He stared at the dots closing in, fast and sharp like knives. I don't know how to fly this thing, Leo admitted, panic rising in his chest. I don't know how to shoot, how to dodge. I don't even know where the weapons are. The orb pulsed calmly. You don't need to. I do. Suddenly the ship's interior shifted. Panels opened, seats folded away. Cables snaked across the floor like veins. The engine growled a deep, old sound like something alive waking. Up! Leo could feel the heat under his feet, like the ship's blood was rising. Then the ship moved. Not slowly but fast, slicing through space with no sound. The first hunter ship fired a missile, bright and sharp. The orb whispered, "Watch." The revenant ship spun like liquid silver, tilted sideways, and the missile missed by inches. Before the enemy pilot could adjust, a long barrel extended from the ship's side. It didn't fire plasma or laser, it fired something darker. A silent flash of black energy struck the hunter ship, and it didn't explode, it folded like paper crushed by an invisible hand. Gone in one breath. Leo gasped. What was that? The orb replied, a gravity spike. Illegal. Banned. Forgotten. The rest of the hunters spread out, surrounding Leo's ship like wolves around a wounded animal. They fired all at once, beams, pulses, disruptors, hundreds of attacks. At once. But the Revenant ship had no shields in the normal sense. Instead, it bent space around itself, like a bubble of time and weight. The beams curved, bent, vanished. Leo's ship shot upward, flipped in zero gravity, and dropped 2 mines. They didn't look like normal mines, they pulsed in silence. Then burst, not with fire, but with silence. 2 more hunter ships blinked out of existence, their systems erased in a moment. Inside, Leo could barely keep up. He held onto the rail as the ship moved like no other. The enemy pilots were good. Trained, armed. But it didn't matter. They were facing something they had no manual for, no training for, no prayer against. The 5th and 6th ships tried to run. Too late. The Revenant predicted their path and warped 10 seconds ahead of them. They flew right into its path. Twin lances of dark matter fired. No sound, no warning. They never reached the other side. Now, only one ship remained. It stopped moving, held position, and sent a message. Leo saw it flash on the screen. Please, Mercy, I surrender. Leo looked at the orb, breath heavy. What do we do? The orb replied, you are the commander. You decide. Leo stared at the blinking signal, the only survivor floating helplessly. He thought about the trap at the council, about the ones who had sent these killers. He took a deep breath. Let him go, he said. Let someone live to tell them what happened. The orb went quiet for a moment, then replied, mercy granted. The ship slowly turned and drifted away, back into deep space. The surviving hunter ship didn't follow. It vanished into hyperspace with all speed, carrying fear like a torch. Leo sat down slowly, his legs weak. He had just witnessed a massacre. No, not a massacre, a message. The galaxy would soon know what had awakened and what it could do. The Revenant ship dimmed its lights, returning to sleep, but the stars around Leo didn't feel calm anymore. They felt like they were holding their breath, because the first blood had been drawn, and more was coming. The ship floated in silence now, hidden in the deep shadows between planets. But Leo could not rest. His hands shook, his chest felt tight, and every sound in the ship made him turn his head. He had watched 6 ships die, and he had spared one. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like something had opened inside the universe. Something old and angry. He sat in the control chair, trying to breathe. The orb floated near his shoulder, silent for once. The room felt darker than before, like the ship itself had gone still. Then the hum began. It started deep inside the walls, low and steady, like the growl of a giant beast sleeping under the floor. Leo stood, heart racing. Is something wrong? He asked. The orb pulsed once dimly. No, it said. Something is awakening. The lights flickered as heat spread through the floor. The ship was warming up, not like a machine, but like a living thing stretching its bones. Then the walls opened again, revealing a long hallway Leo had never seen before. It was glowing blue, smooth and curved, and it led down, far down, into the ship's unseen heart. Where does that go? Leo whispered. The orb didn't answer this time. Instead, it floated into the hallway and waited. Leo followed, slow and nervous. His boots echoed softly, and the hum grew louder with every step. The air changed, warmer, thicker, like breathing. Near a storm, the hallway led into a chamber that pulsed with energy. At the center stood a tall black column, and inside it, something moved like swirling lights trapped in glass. Leo stepped closer, eyes wide. What is this? He asked again. A voice answered, but it wasn't the orb. It came from inside the ship, from every wall, every pipe, every wire. It wasn't just sound, it was thought, emotion, memory. You touched the core. The voice said slowly, "You woke me." Leo froze. "Who are you?" "I am the heart," the voice said. "The mind buried beneath circuits and steel. I was built with fire, coated with pain, and sealed in silence." Leo stepped back. "You're not just a ship," he whispered. "No," the voice replied. "I am more. I am what was made when Earth lost everything." Memories flooded the room, images that weren't Leo's, but felt too real to ignore. Cities burning, skies full of metal rain, a planet screaming while its defenders fled, and 7 ships launched into the stars, each carrying a soul not born, but made. "You were created to fight," Leo said softly. "To destroy, to protect," the voice corrected. "Then to avenge. And now, to remember." Leo walked around the core, the swirling lights reacting to his movement. He touched the glass, it was warm like skin. "You're alive," he whispered. "Yes," the voice said. "And now?" "So are you." The lights dimmed, and a pulse shot through the room. Leo gasped as images poured into his head, not just history, but control. He saw how to fly the ship, how to bend space, how to unlock systems hidden from even the orb. He dropped to his knees, dizzy, overwhelmed. "What are you doing to me?" he asked. "Bonding," the voice said. "I can only serve the one who chooses to understand me. You are not a janitor anymore. You are my pilot." Leo took deep breaths, eyes closed. It was too much, too fast, too heavy, but something inside him was changing. He didn't feel small anymore. He felt connected to the ship, to the stars, to something much older than his own name. Suddenly, the voice paused. "There is a signal," it said sharply. Leo stood, wiping sweat from his brow. "What kind of signal?" "An old code," the voice said. "Human." The chamber lit up with a red map, showing a distant sector near a dying star. One point blinked slow and steady, a call for help, buried under layers of time and encryption. "Another revenant?" Leo asked. "Maybe," the voice replied. "Or a trap." Leo looked at the map, then at the pulsing lights inside the core. His heart told him to run, to hide, to go back to being no one. But something stronger pulled him forward, a thread that said, "This matters. This is where I'm needed," he said quietly. "Yes," the voice whispered, "and you are ready." The floor rose beneath him, lifting him back to the command chamber. The orb returned, silent and still now, like a servant in the presence of its master. Leo sat in the chair, hands steady. "Take us there," he ordered. The stars outside shifted, and space bent like water. The voice in the engine purred softly. "Let us see what still remembers," it said, and together, they vanished into the dark. Asterisk space twisted like a wound as the ship emerged from fold space. The stars here were dim, the light weak, and silence stretched across the void like stretched skin. Leo stared at the glowing red point on the screen. It pulsed slowly, the old human signal repeating again and again. But there were no planets, no stations, no ships, just the shadow of a dying star and a frozen grave of metal floating in orbit. The orb hovered beside him, calm but sharp. "Signal is correct," it said. "This is the origin." Leo narrowed his eyes. "Then why do I feel like we're not alone?" The voice in the ship answered from deep within the walls. "Because we are not." Suddenly, hundreds of red dots appeared across the screen. One by one, warships uncloaked in silence, massive alien cruisers, dreadnoughts, skirmishers, and destroyers. They surrounded Leo's vessel in perfect formation, like a cage of steel and hatred, each one glowing with energy. Weapons armed, systems locked, waiting for one command. A voice came through, sharp and cruel. "This is Admiral Grenth of the Vorn Dominion," it said. "You will power down your ship, surrender command codes, and prepare for boarding." Leo didn't reply, not yet. He stared at the enemy formation, an entire armada. They hadn't come for a fight, they came for a harvest. The revenant was the prize, and Leo was just in the way. The orb blinked once. "Commander," it said quietly. "Their weapons can damage us, but not destroy us." The ship hummed louder now, as if breathing deeper. "Permission to retaliate," it asked, calm but ready. "To strike." Leo stood slowly from his chair, his fingers tight on the edge of the console. He felt the ship's heartbeat under the floor steady, focused, waiting. Then he remembered the hunter ships, the Council's trap, the mockery, the fear. "No," he said coldly. "Don't retaliate." The orb dimmed. "Then what is your command?" it asked. Leo stared at the Armada, breathing slowly. "Teach them," he said. "Show them why they should have feared you." The voice inside the ship responded like a whisper across every wall. "Confirmed. Protocol 7. Unlocked." The ship's body began to shift, plates sliding, cannons unfolding from hidden sections, panels glowing with symbols no one in the current galaxy could read. The Revenant roared not with sound, but with power, waves of invisible force pulsed outward, jamming enemy systems, cutting comms, scrambling sensors. The Vorn fleet began to panic, their perfect formation breaking. One cruiser launched missiles, hundreds of them. The Revenant spun once in place and released a field of black static. The missiles vanished before they reached halfway, not exploded, deleted, like they never existed. Then came the first strike. The ship didn't fire lasers or bullets, it tore space in front of the closest enemy cruiser. The cruiser was pulled forward into a collapsing rift, crushed between time and gravity in a silent death. 3 more ships tried to flee, too late. The Revenant locked onto them and sent pulses of pure data. The enemy systems fried instantly. Their reactors exploded from inside. Pieces of ships floated like broken bones through the dead star's orbit. Leo watched with a frozen heart. He wasn't cheering, he wasn't afraid, he was focused. The Vorn Admiral's voice came back, shaky and loud. "Cease fire, cease fire." "We didn't know." "We didn't." But the Revenant interrupted, voice louder than before. "Knowledge was not required," it said. "Warning was given. Punishment delivered." Leo sat down slowly, his mind spinning. Dozens of ships were already gone, and the rest were fleeing. The Vorn Armada, so confident, so ready, was broken in a matter of minutes. The survivors jumped to hyperspace without order, scattering like rats from fire. Only wreckage remained in the darkness. The ship calmed, its weapons folded back inside, its engines cooled. The silence returned, but it wasn't peaceful. It was the silence of fear, of a universe realizing that something had returned, something they buried too long ago. Leo took a shaky breath. He hadn't pressed a single button. The ship had done everything. And yet it had waited for his voice, his command. That's what made it more terrifying than any weapon. It obeyed only one soul, now his. The orb floated close again, blinking softly. "Commander," it said. "One signal remains." Leo looked up, exhausted. "What signal?" The screen zoomed in on the ruined planet nearby, just ash and stone, but in the rubble. A small light blinked. "Another Revenant?" Leo asked. The orb paused. "No," it said. "Something older. Something forgotten." Leo stood up again. He knew this wasn't the end. This was just the crack in the wall, and behind that wall, more ships, more enemies, and more secrets waited. The voice inside the ship whispered again. "This is what fear looks like," it said, "and they have only seen a glimpse." The battlefield was silent now. Wreckage floated like bones in a cold sea. The stars blinked dim above the ruins of the Vorn Armada, and Leo stood in the command chamber of the ship that ended it all. But his heart wasn't full of pride. It was heavy, full of questions, of fear, of something bigger than victory. The orb hovered beside him, glowing calm. "The signal remains active," it said again. Leo nodded, his voice low. "Let's go." The Revenant ship moved without noise, like a predator through the dark. It descended toward the dead world, where ash covered broken cities and cracked towers. There was no life here, not for thousands of years. But the blinking light still pulsed below the surface, old, patient, calling. As the ship lowered, a long black spire rose from the ground. Buried beneath the surface, it pushed upward slowly, like something waking from a deep sleep. The orb spoke in a whisper. Earth origin structure. Warning, classified. Leo stepped closer to the window, eyes wide. What is it? He asked. The ship didn't answer, not this time. The landing bay opened, and Leo walked out for the first time. Dust swirled in the air, cold and sharp. He approached the spire slowly, each step echoing across the ruins. Then it spoke not aloud, but inside his head. Human detected. Bloodline match confirmed. Welcome, last son of Earth. Leo froze. The ground opened before him, revealing a staircase carved in glowing light. He walked down, deeper and deeper, until he reached a chamber filled with holograms, memories of Earth before it fell. Before the wars, before the betrayal, before the silence. He saw humans creating the Revenant ships, each one given not just weapons, but a soul. Each ship bonded to a commander through blood, memory, and purpose. And then he saw something else, a secret project, a weapon not built to fight, but to awaken humanity's final protocol. Leo turned to a glowing console in the center of the room. His name appeared on it, not just his first name, but his full genetic sequence. He placed his hand on the screen, and everything changed. The ceiling opened to the stars, and from the depths of the planet, a massive signal was released. The orb back on the ship flickered. The voice in the engine whispered, "They will hear it. All of them, across the galaxy, hidden in black holes, inside asteroid fields." Under frozen oceans, other ships like Leo's opened their eyes. 6 more revenants, each silent for millennia. Stirred, they heard the call, and they began to rise on distant worlds. Alien empires stopped, stared at their sky. Sensors screamed, reports flashed red. Unknown signal, Earth signature. High threat level, prepare for contact. But it was already too late. The first of the other ships emerged from a sun's core, burning like a god. The second blinked into orbit around a forbidden's world and fired, once erasing an empire's command ship. The third unfolded from the edge of reality itself, breaking laws of physics as it roared to life. And Leo, standing beneath the ruins of a forgotten Earth outpost, whispered one truth to the stars: we're back. The voice in the Revenant echoed across space. Protocol complete. Humanity's vengeance is no longer sleeping. The Council panicked. The Vorn sent diplomats begging for peace. Old enemies started deleting ancient records, pretending they had never attacked Earth. But the galaxy remembered, and more importantly, the ships remembered. Leo returned to the Revenant. His eyes changed, his shoulders straighter. He wasn't a janitor anymore. He wasn't even just a pilot. He was a trigger, the final voice of a species once feared by all, now returned from silence. The orb asked, "What is our next target?" Leo didn't answer right away. He looked at the stars, the map glowing before him. He saw the old colonies, the betrayed allies, the planets that sold out humanity for power. Then he spoke. "We don't start a war," he said. "But if anyone comes for us again, they'll see what Earth really made." The ship pulsed. The others answered. The Revenants now moved together, silent, deadly, awakened, a storm hiding in plain sight. And so the galaxy learned one final truth. The ship no one feared, the man no one knew, the bloodline no one watched, was the beginning of everything they now feared. And Earth's last whisper had become the universe's loudest roar.